Well, it is easy to ask your spouse or your coworker what's wrong because we're all born with the ability to speak. But with our dogs, it's a completely different story, and it's not as easy to figure out what they want. And Mike Deeth with Kiss Dog Training is here to give us a little bit of a breakdown of some of the things that we should be paying attention to. Mike, thank you so much for being here today. Yeah. And who's our special guest?
This is Leo. This is my sidekick. I simply hold the leash.
She is so adorable. Isn't she so pretty?
Yes.
Now, what is Leo?
She is a Leonberger. It's a German dog, but basically Great Pyrenees, Newfoundland, St. Bernard all mixed together.
She is so soft. She is so sweet. She's 7 years old, and she's so well behaved here.
She's a good girl. There's been a lot of work put into her. She's a therapy dog. She works at Neiman Elementary, does the read programs. The kids read to her. She's a 100-pound business card.
Yeah.
She makes me look good.
Yeah. Well, some of our dogs, they do different things, whether it's licking their lips or they yawn or something like that. What does that mean? What are they trying to tell us with that?
Well, it's all about what I call DSAL, which is dog as a second language. We're the ones with the opposable thumbs and all the gray matter.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be able to read their body language, but they send us signals all the time. The licking of the lips, the yawning, they're stress signals, and they're trying to tell us that they're not real comfortable with what's going on. In a way, you can think of it as a distance increasing behavior. When your dog is yawning or licking the lips, what you do is don't go in and try to love on them and tell them everything's okay. You actually add a little space, let the dog catch up and come to you.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like, hey, I understand how you're feeling, let me back up, you come to me when you're ready, versus humans tend to be huggers.
Yeah.
We want to be close, we want to hug, we want to
show that compassion.
Yep, and in most cases, dogs really are not all that keen on, hugging.
Yeah. I've noticed whenever we get thunderstorms around here or any thunder, a lot of my dogs, they will start to yawn quite a bit. So that's a sign of stress.
Absolutely. It's just they're uncomfortable and they're just looking to find some comfort.
Yeah. Well, what about when the dogs curl their ears back or their tail is tucked? If we're out for a walk and Little Gunner, which is a Chiweenie, which is a Dachshund Chihuahua mix, if he hears a loud pop or something, that tail right between his legs.
Yep. The thing is, you always start at the front end and go all the way to the back end.
Yeah.
So you can't take anything in a vacuum. So like somebody will say, well, a wagging tail's a happy dog. Well, that all really depends on, one, how the tail is wagging and what's happening at the front end of the dog too.
Yeah.
So if we see the dog's ears are laid back, the tail is tucked between the legs, they're kind of getting low on the ground. You'll even see some dogs flip over and show their belly.
Yes.
And we will think that they want their belly scratched, and it's more like a wrestling move where they're tapping out and like, hey, please don't.
I'm showing you the dominance.
So
so
some of these old wives' tales that we've heard is that like a wagging tail is a happy dog, or that a dog who shows you their belly wants a belly scratch. Not always.
I have a dog, Dexter, this morning, and I started to walk up to him, and he was chewing something, and all of a sudden his tail just started going round and round and round. And there are different types of tail wags.
Yeah, there are. The circular tail wag is the happy dog wag. You see the big old goofy labs where the entire body's loose, and they're doing everything.
Their whole butt's moving back and forth.
You can get the dogs where they put their tail straight up in the air, though, and that's kind of a sign on alert. I call it shark tail. You'll see a tail just very slowly go back and forth.
Yeah.
I think with kids especially, we need to kind of back off of that, hey, a wagging tail is a happy dog.
Well, real quickly, let's talk about the guilty look. I've seen a lot of guilty look photos on Facebook here.
You guys were just talking about social media, and the first thing that went into my mind is, if people really understood dog body language, half of the stuff that we thought was cute really wouldn't be cute, because a lot of it is stress signals of the dog not being really comfortable with the situation. The guilty thing is really the way, when a person gets mad, usually the first thing that happens is they take a deep breath. And there's the calm before the storm. Your dog knows you so well. They know your tells. And the minute you get upset, they start giving you signals that they know calm you down.
Yeah.
And that's where that guilty stuff comes in. There was actually a research study where they took a tray of cookies and faked it where the dog ate them, and then in another case threw them in the trash can, and then had the owner come in. And whether the dog actually ate the cookies or they had thrown away the cookies, when the owner walked in,
still had the guilt, didn't
when the owners walked in and saw cookies missing, the way they reacted, the dog reacted the exact same way. So it's not guilt. It's really, please calm down, I don't like the way this is going. They're trying to,
Gotcha.
So they don't know what's right and wrong. They do know associations, though.
All right, Mike. Well, thank you so much for being
here. Hey, no problem.
And Leo, how sweet is this?
Hi.
was such a good girl.
Are you back?
She deserves